So we already know that if you want to be better at this game and you want to be one of the best players, you got to have one of the best settings configurations in the game as well. And we're going to be talking about that today. I'm going to show you guys the best settings that you could be using to actually optimize and utilize every single aspect of this game and just play way better, have quicker movement, have better accuracy, and just be overall a better player. If you're the type of person who just hops on the game, never touches your settings, and then wonders why you lose a bunch of gunfights, that's why, guys. You got to change these settings, and we're going to get into that today. I'm going to tell you guys the best settings you need to be using within this game to play a lot better. Now guys, if you want the best of luck ever and to become a better player, make sure to drop a like on this video, sub to the channel if it's already turned on, and let me know down in the comments below, do you like Season 3 Reloaded? I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, I like it, but I'm not in love with it. Like, it's not one of the best updates that we've got. I find some of the maps are just not that great. I find like just some of the nerfs on the weapons they weren't deserved, you know. I don't know, I'm not crazy about the update all that much, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let's get into the settings, and the first one that I want to talk about is definitely going to be controller settings. Now, controller settings are one of the most important ones in the game because if you're using the wrong ones, you're just going to play weird, all right? Now, the first thing that I suggest when in controller settings is to actually flip from L2 and R2 to L1 and R1. This helps you guys shoot milliseconds faster, but in a game like COD, milliseconds makes a huge difference. So make sure you guys turn this from off to on, and you will be set, and it will be a lot easier. Now, if you're playing on an Xbox controller or anything other than a PlayStation controller, I would recommend not flipping it, but if you're on a PlayStation controller, it's even more comfortable when you actually change this. You'll see, it might not be comfortable the first or second game, but once you turn this on consistently, it's just so much better, and you're not going to have that haptic feedback that makes you shoot slower and stuff, so definitely go ahead and switch that out. After that, we're going to go to controller vibration, and this is another one that I always recommend turning off, alright? If your controller is vibrating, your thumb is vibrating with it, which means that your right joystick is also moving as your thumb vibrates, and that could screw up your accuracy a little bit, and it's just micro adjustments and stuff. But again, if you want to have the best accuracy ever, turn this off. And I will tell you guys, this one will feel weird once you turn it off, but don't ever turn it on again, okay? You'll get used to it in a day or two, and it's just gonna be so much better. And a lot of people always tell me, thank you for telling me to turn off controller vibration, my accuracy is so much better now, and that's just the way it is. Next off, we got dead zones, all right? Dead zones are super important as well in this game. The first one is going to be the left stick minimum, and you're going to put this down to 0 or 5. I have some stick drift on my left stick, so I put it up to 5 so that my character doesn't move in game if I'm not touching it. And then the left stick max, you want to set this to 40. That way you don't have to move your stick all the way to get the maximum speed and stuff like that. If you want to tack sprint and all that, you don't have to go crazy pressing that left stick, and it's really nice. And the rotational aim assist also works really nicely with this as well. Then the right stick minimum, you're going to set to 5, and the right stick max, you're going to set to 100. You definitely want to put that up to 100, and I highly recommend playing with Control Freaks. By the way, you guys can use code iDoNick on Control Freaks to actually get some at a nice percentage off, and I will suggest using them, not because I'm sponsored by them. I've been always suggesting them even before I was sponsored by them, but what I will say is that they're just super good. They help you with your accuracy so much. You get more, I guess you could move more in terms of your aiming and stuff. You just get those micro adjustments that are so much nicer with Control Freaks on, so I highly recommend that as well. And then left trigger, right trigger, you want those on 0 for sure. I've never seen anybody turn these on. Definitely no point in turning those on. Going into the aiming, I personally play on 9 and 9 currently. Sometimes I put my vertical 1 higher. Maybe I'll put it up to like 10 or something like that, but at the moment I'm playing 9-9. I used to play higher, I lowered it, and my accuracy is so much better as well. Like, I'm always trying to think of a different sensitivity to play on, but that's what I tell you guys. Sensitivity, don't copy me. Feel what's good for you, and you guys will play a lot better. And then we can skip a few of the other little settings here and actually go to aim response curve type, and I would suggest either linear or standard. You guys don't want to run dynamic, it's not that great, so linear or standard, and you guys will be good with those right there. Definitely go ahead and check those out. And then what I suggest is also going into the custom sensitivity per zoom, and going into this one right here is going to help you guys a lot. All right, so for low zoom, I put mine to 0.90. Now this is really good. This is if you're using iron sights, if you're using like the jack sight or anything like that, the glassless optic I should say. This is what this one's for, okay, the low zoom. And what it's going to do, it's going to actually slow down your sensitivity to 0.90 when you're ADSing, so it actually sticks to those enemies a lot easier. Now I will say when they're super close, right in your face, .90 is not that nice, but that's like 1 out of every 30 gunfights. So I really recommend putting it down to .90, and you guys will see it'll be good. And even if they're up in your face, hip fire, guys. Why would you actually ADS that close? So yeah, this one's really good. Your accuracy is gonna be a lot better if you lower that. And then the 2 to 3 times I actually lowered, I'm gonna put it up to .85 because I feel like .80 is a little too slow. Just testing it. I'm gonna put it up to .85 or .90 as well, and probably .90. And then you guys can see with that right there. And then the rest of them is like 4 to 5 times zoom. This is mostly for quick scoping and stuff. I used to say to lower these, but I actually don't recommend doing that anymore. I recommend leaving that 1.0 for all of those right there, and you will be good to go. Target aim assist on. Aim assist type we're gonna put to Black Ops. I just find Black Ops the best. I know like it was nerfed last year and stuff in Modern Warfare 2 and whatnot. I just find it the best. And then pretty much everything else here, you don't really have to change. So we're just gonna go, I'm just talking about the important actual settings in this video. We're also gonna go into some graphical settings to make the game look a lot better, but right now we're just gonna stick with controller for a sec. Now, automatic sprint, you could turn it on, you could turn it off. I used to have it to automatic tactical sprint, and if you turn that on, you could also turn on slide maintain sprint, but we're gonna turn it off. And the reason for that is because if you're using any gun that involves hip firing, or if you ever want to hip fire, you're gonna end up tag sprinting as you're firing, so it's gonna cancel your shooting, and you're gonna be losing a lot of gunfights that you definitely should not be losing, because it's going to put you into an automatic sprint if you just move and nudge your left stick even a millimeter. So I wouldn't recommend having that on. I used to recommend having it on, but I noticed that I was losing way too many gunfights with that, so I definitely turned that off for sure. And then pretty much auto move forward you want off as well. I don't know why people would turn that on, but I mean, hey, if your left stick is broken, maybe that's the time to throw it on. But in all fairness, I just don't see a point. Single tap to sprint, and then we got ground mantle on. Okay, these are important right here. All right, so your ground mantle, you want to have that on because you're gonna actually go ahead and trigger it yourself from the ground. You'll be able to mantle, which is no problem. But automatic airborne mantle, you want this off. This is so that if you jump in a gunfight, you don't accidentally mantle an object that's near you. So if you jump in a lot of gunfights and you notice that you're mantling stuff and then you start hip firing rather than ADSing, turn this off 100%. Automatic ground mantle or hang, turn this off as well. You don't want it to be automatic. And then your slide dive behavior, I have tap to slide. Plunging underwater trigger, and then pretty much all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't say much of these are too important after that. It's pretty much you guys could go ahead and just kind of do what you want for the rest of the settings under the gameplay section here. But what I will say, actually there's one more right here, akimbo. Akimbo is important. I would suggest putting it on paired so that this way, if you don't have to shoot L1 and R1 to actually shoot both guns, you could just press one of those two buttons and it'll actually shoot both of them at the same time. It's just a lot quicker, I find. It's just a lot nicer. But yeah, that's gonna be it for that right there. Now let's go into the graphics a second here so I can show you guys what you want to set as well. So we're going to talk about quality and view, but I want to go into display quickly and show you guys the brightness. Okay, a lot of people get this wrong. A lot of people think the higher your brightness, the better it is. This is not a cell phone, guys. If you put the brightness higher, your saturation gets washed out, the game looks washed out, and it just looks really ugly. So actually go to where that's not visible and to where that barely visible is actually barely visible. For me, it's at 55. I might even put it up to like 58, somewhere like that, and that's going to be really nice. The game's going to look a lot more vibrant. It's going to look a lot nicer. It's not going to look washed out or anything like that. So definitely go ahead and do that right there. And I would say that's probably it for these settings under display. Let's get into quality. And this right here, I don't know if you have this on console. I don't think these are console settings, but I will say if you have FPS issues, put this to low or to very low. I could put it to high, but when I'm recording, it doesn't look nice and it gives me some hitching and stuff like that. So I put it to low and it just looks a lot better in all fairness because it doesn't make too much of a difference. I have an AMD card, so I'm gonna use AMD FSR 3.0. That's gonna give me the maximum frames possible. If I turn this off to like my Intel or Fidelity FX cast, which is really popular, a lot of people use this one, I'll get maybe 150 frames per second. I turn it to AMD FSR 3.0, I'm over 300 frames per second while recording. So it's a huge difference, this right here. So if you have an AMD card, I recommend throwing that one on right there 100% of the time, all right? Then right here in view, this is something that I actually don't know why I'm playing at 117 at the moment. I would never recommend playing this high. I think I'm just doing it because it makes me feel faster, but if you're playing at a really high sensitivity like this, it's gonna be a lot harder to see enemies at longer distance. I'm actually gonna lower mine to 112. This is another one that I say is, don't copy me, guys. Feel what's right for you, and if you feel like 120 is right for you, go for it. If you feel like 80, all the way down to like OG console field of view, go for it as well. I'm gonna stick to 110, 112 right now because I feel like 117 is a little too much, but 105, what I used to play on, is a little too slow. Now I play on independent here rather than affected. I think a lot of people play unaffected. I'm not sure, but I like independent. All right, it's just me. That's again personal preference. And then world motion blur, weapon motion blur. You're gonna turn these off. There's no point in having them on. Film grain you're gonna set to the lowest, and then pretty much that's it. That's the settings, guys. If you guys like this type of video, if you guys want me to do more settings videos in the future, again, drop a like on this video. I would truly appreciate that. Sub to the channel if those movies are done. And guys, let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this season? And be completely honest with me. I feel like the MCW definitely needed that buff. All right, it did. It was awful. It was an awful gun. That buff helped it out a lot. But I feel like the other guns did not deserve a nerf. I don't know. I just don't. I don't know, man. The MCW, I feel like that's the only gun they should have messed with. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video, guys. Those are the settings. Let me know what you guys think of those down in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Drop a like on this video. You'll get the best luck ever, and you'll be the best player ever, hopefully. And yeah, my name is Nick, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.